Strategic business leader. So in previous lecture, we started CSR, corporate social responsibilities, like a company should not only focus on their profit or best of shareholder, they should also focus on best for society as well. In company need to bear some social cost. They need to forego something for the social cause. And according to Milton Friedman, no, the management main responsibility is to see best for the shareholder. If they are performing CSR, that is shareholder betrayal, because to focus on society is the responsibility of government rather than directors. And then Carroll put forward his model on CSR, and he said CSR doesn't say you don't need to focus on a shareholder best. CSR says you should focus on shareholder best as well as society best. And a company can perform CSR by focusing on four responsibilities: economic, legal, ethical, philanthropic. How a company can prepare CSR strategy, we have discussed. So let's move forward. There are two motivation of CSR, or there are two views on CSR. Views on CSR. One view is an instrumental view, and the other is a normative view. Instrumental view is associated with instrument. And for a company, what is instrument? It's profit. If a company focusing on CSR, why? Because if we perform CSR, we can build a good repute in the society. By having good repute, we'll be able to attract more customer. This will result into more sale as well as more profit for the organization. Mean profit focused CSR, that is instrumental view on CSR. They don't consider like CSR is a better thing. It is our value, like we should focus on CSR. Being artificial person in a society, we should focus on best for society as well. No, they are performing CSR. Mean they are bearing social cost just because to create a good image, attract more customers, increase the sale and more profit. While normative view on CSR is a pure view on CSR. Mean this view, companies performing CSR with a view that being an artificial person in our society, we need to focus on best for society along with best for shareholder as well. It is the right things to do. It is our responsibility, like we need to focus on society as well. Whether it will increase our profit or not, doesn't matter, but we need to focus on society as well. So that is pure CSR view, normative view. So some companies perform CSR based on instrumental view, but other company pure CSR, that is normative view. There is another topic, corporate citizenship. Corporate citizenship says company is a separate legal entity. Artificial person means citizen in a society. So company need to behave like a citizen, responsible citizen. Mean they should provide some benefit to the society as well. They should consider best for all stakeholders, including society. And according to corporate citizenship, if company is not providing any benefit to the society, they should stop providing harmful to the society. If better, if you can provide best for the society, if you can provide benefit to the society, but if you are not providing any benefit, you should not harm the society. Meanwhile, making a decision, you need to make sure your decisions, your action should not be harmful for the society. This is called corporate citizenship. And this is the responsibility of not only management as well as shareholder. Because if management is performing some social responsibility, they are bearing some social cost, shareholder should not allegate these things. they should motivate management even more towards the social cause, towards social cost. Because companies are separate legal entity like artificial person in our society. So they should avoid providing harm to the society. Next, moving towards one more concept called CSR strategy and strategic CSR. CSR strategy and strategic CSR. What is CSR strategy? CSR strategy is a short term focus on CSR. Why companies performing CSR? Because there is a need for performing CSR. Why there is a need? Because company need to build a good repute in the industry, and through good repute, company can increase sales and company can increase its profit. Like instrumental view on CSR is CSR strategy. What is a strategic CSR? That is normative view on CSR. Mean it is a long-term belief of the company. Along with best for ourselves or along with considering a profit, we need to consider best for society as well because it is a right thing to do. It is ethically right. We need to behave like a corporate citizen. So normative view on CSR is a strategic CSR. Instrumental view on CSR is a CSR strategy. CSR strategy is a short-term focus on CSR. Why? Because there is a need to build a good reputation. But the long-term belief of the company, no, need to consider CSR along with our profit. It is that much important as our profit is. So that is called strategic CSR, mean pure view on CSR. So CSR finish. In corporate governance, there are 6 chapters. Chapter 6 we have covered on CSR. Chapter 5 we have covered on corporate governance approaches, rule-based, principle-based SOX. Chapter 4 we have covered on shareholder activism, institutional investors intervention, AGM, EGM, as well as disclosure in the annual report. Chapter 3 we have covered so far on directors remuneration. Chapter 2 we have covered on corporate governance codes, CPD, induction program, retirement by operation, role of non-executive director, role of chairman, role of CEO, board committees. Now moving towards chapter 1, there are 2 topics left. So let's discuss those topics and then we will wind up with governance area. So in chapter 1, we left with 2 theory. One is called agency theory and other is transaction cost theory. What is agency theory? According to agency theory, in agency theory, there are 2 parties involved. One is principal and the other is agent. And according to agency theory, one party principal engage an other party agent to perform some services on behalf of principal against any reward. Like in a company, principal mean shareholder, engage their agent mean directors to manage their company against any reward. This is called agency relationship between principal and agent. Meaning directors are agent of principal shareholder. And if you are agent of any principal, your fiduciary mean contractual duty is to focus on best for the principal. But these rascal directors, they do not consider best for the shareholder. They consider their best. Meanwhile, making a decision, there come arise conflict of interest. They take decision in their best interest rather than best of shareholder or company. So that's why principal have to bear some agency cost. Who bear agency cost? Principal. Why? To monitor the working of agent. Due to conflict of interest, from agent point of view, principal bear some agency cost to monitor the work of agent so that agent must consider best for the principal. As the conflict of interest is increasing, agency cost will be increasing even more. If there is a zero conflict of interest, there will be zero agency cost. They don't need to bear agency cost. So as there is conflict of interest, directors consider their best rather than principal best. So that's why principal shareholder bear some agency cost. What are the agency costs? There are three types of agency cost. There are three types of agency cost. Monitoring cost, bonding cost, and residual loss. Agency costs are costs that bear by the principal to monitor the work of agent due to conflict of interest. If there is no conflict of interest, agency cost will be zero. But as conflict of interest is increasing, agency costs are also increasing. Who is bearing agency cost? Principal. Shareholder will decide. There are three types of agency cost: monitoring cost, bonding cost, and residual loss. Monitoring cost to monitor the work of agent. Principal shareholder asks the director to prepare the financial statements. So preparation of a financial statement is a monitoring cost so that they can provide financial data to the shareholder. Not only preparation of financial statements, it should be verified by the independent auditor. So audit cost is also a monitoring cost. Principal asks the director, no, at least once in a year, conduct a meeting with us so that we can discuss certain matters with you, like conducting AGM cost is also monitoring cost. They appoint some non-executive director, independent director, so that they can evaluate, they can challenge their short-termism strategies. So non-executive director pay is also a monitoring cost. So what are the monitoring costs? Financial statement preparation cost, audit of financial statement cost, AGM cost, and non-executive. Despite monitoring cost, they bear some bonding cost. Bonding cost is relating to implementation of system, implementation and review of system to avoid fraud by the directors. They ask the company to implement internal control system. Internal control system means implement some policies, procedures. And to implement some policy procedures, company need to bear some cost. Those costs are called bonding cost. Not only you need to implement, you need to review the internal control system by independent internal auditor. So internal auditor cost is also called bonding cost. Despite monitoring and bonding costs, the rascal directors still considering their best, they still not considering best for principal. Then shareholder realize why they are considering their best interest, why not mine? Could be due to some personal reasons. Might be they are having some their personal cost that are not fulfilled by the pay. So that's why they are involving into conflict of interest. So shareholder decided, okay, take your personal expenditure for me as well. If you need a house, I will provide you house. If you need a medical, I will provide you medical insurance. If you need a traveling, I will provide you company car, helicopter, jet, so that you should consider best for the principals and that other facilities, accommodation, traveling, medical is called residual loss. Mean other facilities. So what are agency costs? Agency costs are the cost beared by principal to monitor the work of agent. And there are three types of agency cost: monitoring cost, monitor the working of agent, financial statement preparation, financial statement audit, AGM, and pay of non-executive director. Bonding cost to implement and review system in the organization. And residual loss, some other facilities to the directors like accommodation, medical insurance, and traveling like car, helicopter, jet, etc. So this topic finish. What is agency? What is agency cost? Now moving towards another topic called transactional cost theory. Transactional cost theory. Who bear agency costs? Principal, shareholder. Mean obviously it is going from the pocket of company, but who is deciding? Shareholder. Why? To monitor the work of agent. Transaction costs are beared by the company. A shareholder will not decide, company mean company management will decide. So beared by the company. Why? To perform its transaction properly. Perform its transactions properly, because without these costs, company will not be able to perform its transaction properly. Our transaction cost bear by the company. Why? To achieve its objective. Because if company do not bear these costs, company will not be able to achieve its objective. Our transaction cost bear by the company to gain competitive advantage in the industry against competitor. To gain capital competitive advantage. Against competitor. So transaction costs are the costs that bear by the company to perform its transaction properly, to achieve its objective, or to gain competitive advantage against competitor. Mean these are some additional costs other than routine cost that a company bear. Why a company bear transaction cost? Due to two human factors and three environmental factors. What are two human factors? Bounded rationality and opportunism. What are three environmental factors? Frequency, uncertainty, and asset specifying. So transaction cost are cost beared by the company. Perform its transaction properly, to achieve its objective, or to gain competitive advantage. And a company need to bear these transaction costs, mean extra cost, due to two human factor, boundary rationality and opportunism, and three environmental factors: frequency, uncertainty, and asset specifying. What is meant by boundary rationality? Boundary rationality mean a limited knowledge capacity. Boundary rationality mean limited knowledge capacity. Company management knowledge capacity is limited. They are not expert in all of the fields, all of the areas. So sometimes to take some important technical decisions, they need to consult different consultants who are expert in those fields. And if they are engaging those consultants, this means they are paying some cost to the consultant. That cost is extra cost other than routine cost of the business, called transaction cost. Why companies bearing? Due to boundary rationality, mean limited knowledge capacity of the business. Because if they don't engage that consultant, company will not be able to prepare accurate decision, accurate strategies. Mean company will not be able to achieve its objective properly. That's why they need to bear those costs. Can you understand this? What is other human factor? Opportunism. opportunities come and go out quickly in the market. If we don't capture them on time, they goes out. We missed. And whenever any opportunity is coming into the market, before coming into the market, we need some information as well. So we are not sitting in the market. We are sitting inside the business. So sometimes we need to engage some brokers who inform us about the opportunity or help us to capture the opportunity on time. And to those brokers, we need to pay some commission. That commission is extra cost, and that is transaction cost. Because if company don't engage that broker, company will not be able to capture the opportunities on time. If you are not capturing opportunities on time, your competitor will capture. Who will be getting competitive advantage? Your competitor, not you. So to gain competitive advantage, we need to pay to some of the brokers to capture some opportunities on. Then you understand this transaction cost bear by the company due to two human factors, boundary rationality, we limited knowledge capacity, we need to pay to the consultants. Or to capture opportunities on time, we need to pay commission to the brokers. Company bear transaction cost due to three environmental factors. What are three environmental factors? Frequency, uncertainty, and asset specifying. Frequency, what is meant by frequency? What is meant by frequency? Speed. To maintain your objective or to achieve your objective, you need to maintain the speed of your transaction, means frequency of your transaction. If you are unable to maintain speed of your transaction, might be you will be incurring losses. For business survival, you need to maintain speed of your transaction. Mean the revenue must be achievable every month the same to cover the cost. And sometimes to maintain speed of your transaction, you need to invest some money into the business. It is required to invest some more money into the business. And if you don't have money, what you do? You will take loan. And against loan, you are paying what? Interest. Interest is what? Extra cost, transaction cost that company is paying. Why? To maintain its speed of its transaction or to perform its transaction properly. Because if we don't pay interest, we will not be able to get loan. If we don't have loan, we don't have money, we cannot invest. If we are not investing, we will not be able to maintain the speed of our transaction. Can you understand this frequency? Company bear transaction cost due to uncertainty. Our future is uncertain. But in our decision making, we need to take some risk about the future. But we cannot take risk openly. Sometimes we need some cover for the risk. Cover mean we need some insurance for future risk. And to take insurance, we need to pay what? Insurance premium. That insurance premium is extra cost that company is bearing. How to secure its uncertain future? Because if you don't secure your uncertain future, you will not be able to take risky strategies. You will not be able to adopt risky strategies. And if you are not adopting risky strategy, you will not be achieving your objective, because higher the risk, higher the return. But you need to cover some of the risk through insurance. What is asset specifying? Sometime in the industry, you need to acquire a unique kind of asset that is not your competitor is having. Like there is a 6G technology in the industry. Who will adopt first? They will capture the whole market. But who will adopt first? Who will pay the high bidding price? Because initially they will be bidding. Whoever is offering high bid price, they will be purchasing that technology. They will be having patents of that technology. So that 6G technology is a unique type of asset, mean asset specifying. And to capture that, we need to pay the high bid price over their price. that a high bid price over their price is what transaction cost. Because if we don't bear this, we will not be able to achieve competitive advantage. Or sometimes to maintain a strong position in the market, we need to acquire some of the existing small competitors in the industry. Because if we acquire small competitors, our business size will become bigger. Through bigger business size, we'll be able to achieve more cost efficiencies and we can deal with other bigger competitors. But to acquire other small competitor, if they are performing well, we need to pay what their goodwill over their business worth. So that goodwill is what transaction cost due to asset specifying unique nature asset that we need to bear. Why we need to bear? To gain competitive advantage or to achieve business objective. So transaction costs are beared by the company to perform its transaction properly, to achieve its objective properly, or to gain competitive advantage. A business bear transaction cost due to two human factors: boundary rationality, limited knowledge capacity of management. You need to pay to the consultant who help you in decision making. Our opportunism mean to capture opportunities on time or to get information of opportunities on time. You pay to the brokers a commission, that is transaction cost. Company bear transaction cost due to three environmental factor: frequency, mean to maintain the speed of its transaction. Sometimes they need to make some investment, and against that investment, if you are providing any of the return to the bank or to the investor, that is extra cost, transaction cost. To secure uncertain future, company need to engage with the insurance company, and if you are paying insurance premium, that is transaction cost. And to acquire a unique nature asset, you need to pay over its value, like high bidding price or goodwill. So that is transaction cost. What is the difference between agency cost and transaction cost? Agency costs are paid by the principal to monitor the work of each agent, while transaction costs are paid by the company to perform its transaction properly, to gain competitive advantage, or to achieve its objective properly. Governance area finish. Governance area, 6th chapter finish. Now we are moving towards ethics area. Then we will move towards risk area. There are 4 chapters on risk and there are 4 chapters on ethics. Then we will move towards the strategic planning area. So we have covered 6 chapters till now. Not only we have covered 6 chapters, we have covered some questions. We have covered LUM question based on chapter 2. We have covered tomato bank relating to chapter 3. We have covered ZPT relating to chapter 4. We have covered West versus Leroy relating to chapter 5. And we have covered seashell, part A of seashell. That is for chapter 6. So these 5 questions we have covered so far. Now we are moving towards ethics area. Chapter 7. What is ethics? What is meant by ethics?
Ethics means the values.
Values, behavior, norms. Being an accounting student or professional accountant, for us, ethics mean acceptable behavior. Not only behavior, acceptable behavior. Mean in a particular situation or society, our behavior should be acceptable. If we are showing acceptable behavior, this means we are showing the right behavior. If we are not showing acceptable behavior, we are showing wrong behavior, and being a professional, we should always show right rather than wrong behavior. Like while walking on a street, we should not hit anybody. We should not laugh at anybody. We should not use abusive language for anybody because this is not acceptable. This is wrong behavior. But while sitting with the friends, we can hit each other. We can laugh at each other. Even we can use abusive language with each other. And that is right behavior because why? It is acceptable in that situation. So behavior is the same. While walking on a street, it is not acceptable. While sitting with the friends, it is acceptable. This means there are no hard and fast rule. What is right, what is wrong? We need to decide by ourselves in this situation whether this behavior is acceptable. This means ethically right. If it is not acceptable, ethically wrong, and we should avoid wrong, unacceptable. Can you understand? There are two theories on ethics. One is called absolutism views and other is called relativism views. There are two views on ethics, not only theories, we can say two views on ethics, absolutism views and relativism views. Absolutism is a traditional approach on ethics, old views, while relativism is modern approach on ethics. Absolutism is also called a dogmatic approach. And dogmatic word is derived from a Greek word dogma. And the word dogma means single truth. And what is a traditional approach, traditional views on ethics? According to absolutism or dogmatic approach, there is a single truth. Mean right, wrong do not vary society. If anything is right in one society, that is right in other society as well. If anything is ethically wrong in one society, that is also wrong in other societies as well. Like beliefs of Christianity and Islam that are same all over the world. In Islam, if alcohol is prohibited, that is prohibited all over the world. This is called absolutism or dogmatic approach, means traditional approach based on single truth. Right, wrong do not vary society. What is relativism views, also called pragmatic approach? Pragmatic approach says right, wrong varies from society to society. One behavior could be right in one situation, could be wrong in other situation. There is no single truth. We need to decide whether it is acceptable in that situation, right? Whether it is not acceptable in this situation, mean wrong. Like alcohol drinking is ethically right in Western cultures, but ethically wrong in Islamic culture. Prohibited. Like in UAE, you cannot drink openly on public places because it is ethically wrong. While in Western countries, you can even openly drink even on public places. In some areas, there is prohibition, but it is allowed. So we are traditional or modern?
Traditional.
We are modern. Now it's a modern era. We born in the modern era. Might be I born in traditional era, you people born in modern era. So who will consider at least now relativism in pragmatic approach? That was old theories. Now we need to move towards new theories, pragmatic approach. So under pragmatic approach, mean relativism, now we gonna see how people behave ethically. how any individual behave ethically, and how a corporate mean company behave ethically. How individual behave ethically, there is a model called Kohlberg model. Kohlberg. How a company mean corporate behave ethically, there is a model called Gray, Owen, and Adams 7 position model. So first, let's learn how an individual behave ethically, mean how individual ethical training can be performed, how individual learn ethics. So according to Kohlberg model, that is called CMD, cognitive moral development model, mean how morals can be developed in the individual. So according to Kohlberg model, an individual while behaving ethically fall on 3 levels: pre-conventional level, conventional level, post-conventional level. And each level is further divided into 2 stages. The 2 stages of pre-conventional level are obedience, reward, punishment, and self-interest. 2 stages of conventional level are interpersonal accord and conformity and maintaining social order. While 2 stages of post-conventional level are social contract and universal ethical principle. So according to Kohlberg, an individual while behaving ethically falls in 3 levels or 6 stages. Pre-conventional level is having 2 stages: obedience, reward, punishment, and self-interest. Obedience, reward, punishment mean an individual behave ethically. Why he behave ethically? To avoid the punishment or for the sake of achieving any reward or showing obedience toward his senior. Like in a company, an employee is following rules and he is considering following rules is ethically right. Why? Because if I don't follow, there will be punishment. If I follow, there will be reward, or I will show obedience towards my leader, my manager. This is called pre-conventional level, mean behaving ethically for showing obedience, achieving reward, or avoiding punishment. Our pre-conventional level is based on self-interest, mean an individual behaving ethically for his personal interest, like an employee covering the work of his absent colleague, and he is considering it is ethically right. Why? Because now he is absent, I am covering him. When I will absent, he will cover me. Not that he is absent, might be he's having some problem, he should not be in trouble, so I should cover his work as well. No, I should cover his work because in future when I will absent, he will cover me. That is self-interest. Pre-conventional level. Mean at pre-conventional level, those people fall whose ethical belief is based on a right due to showing obedience, achieving reward, or avoiding punishment, all for the sake of self-interest. They don't consider complying with company policies ethical right, so I should comply. No, he's having in mind if I don't comply, there will be punishment. If I comply, I will receive reward, I will show obedience. Covering my colleague is ethically right. No, if I am covering now, tomorrow he will cover me. Self-interest. While at conventional level, those people fall whose ethical beliefs are based on interpersonal accord and conformity. Accord means relations. Accord means relations mean individual behaving ethically to create a good relation with others, to be in the good books of others. R for conformity. Conformity means to show himself as a good boy or good girl. Mean to create a good repute about himself, to be in the good books of all. That's why he is behaving ethically. Not for self-interest, not for reward punishment, to create good relations or to show himself good boy, good girl. Or he is behaving ethically means considering right, wrong properly to maintain social order. To maintain social order mean maintaining his repute or maintaining his personality that has been developed in the society, and to maintain that personality he is behaving ethically. Because if I don't behave ethically, it will affect my build personality in the society. So at pre-conventional, those people fall who is behaving ethically for the sake of reward, punishment, or self-interest. While at conventional level, those people fall that behaving ethically to maintain good relations, good image, or to maintain their good image in the society for the sake of society. But his repute. While at post-conventional level, those people fall who behaving ethically for the sake of humanity, morality, not for self-interest, not for building good image in the society, who are behaving ethically for the sake of humanity, morality. Universal ethical, social contract. Society is giving me something. If I have earned something, if I have achieved something that is support of society, so I should pay back something to the society. That is a social contract. I should give donation. I should give charities because it is a right thing to do for the sake of society. It is a right thing to do for the sake of humanity, morality, not to create his good image in the society. He is paying donation, he is paying charities. Why? Because they have given me or God have given me, so I should distribute to the people of God. Social contract. Are to define universal ethical principles. If other are doing this or not, but to me, it is best for the society. So I should do this. I should work for the society as a role model so that other will also follow me and do this for the sake of humanity, morality. In social contract, you are doing, the other people are doing, the other people have done for the best of society. But universal ethical principle, if other have done this or not, are doing this or not, but to me it is considered best for the humanity, morality. So I should do this. I should prove as a role model so that others should also follow this. So at pre-convention level, those people fall whose ethical behavior is based on reward, punishment, or self-interest. At convention level, those people fall whose ethical beliefs are based on creating a relationship or maintaining their repute in the society. Mean they are performing best, they are behaving ethically just to maintain their repute. While at post-convention level, those people fall who are behaving ethically, not for self-interest, not for repute in the society, for the sake of humanity, morality. They don't consider whether it will build up our repute good or not. They are just behaving ethically for the sake of humanity, morality. Some writers say most of the people behave ethically for these two reasons, pre-conventional or conventional. I mean, most of the people fall at pre-conventional or conventional level. There are nobody or very few people who fall at post-conventional level. If everybody is doing the right thing, they are doing for their personal interest or to create good image in the society. Nobody care about humanity morality. An individual moral development is done how the very first time if individual is thinking about right or wrong, he fall at this stage. Then this stage. Then by performing at this stage, he will move from here to there. And might be in a future at the last age of their life, they move towards post-conventional level. Otherwise, most of the people fall at pre-conventional or conventional level. So Kohlberg cognitive moral development mean how individual learn ethical, mean how an individual can be trained ethically. So according to Kohlberg, an individual while behaving ethically fall either at pre-conventional level or conventional level or post-conventional level. Why we are studying this model? Because in an exam question, examiner provides some information about different individuals. They asked us to explain three different levels of Kohlberg model and identify this person and this person where they fall and justify that. So let's move toward that type of question. So we are having a question, Bobo. Bobo. So Bobo is a long case study, 50 marks case study. There are different requirements, part A, part B, part C, part D. We are not focusing on part A. We are focusing on part B first, then we will cover part C as well as part D. So part B of the question, part 12 good marks. Explain Kohlberg's three levels of moral development. Pre-conventional by naming the two stages, conventional by naming the two stages, and post-conventional by naming the two stages. Done. And identify with reasons the level of moral development exhibited by James Tasako, Kathy Yao, and Vernon Wim. In these are three persons in our company, James Tasako, Kathy Yao, Vernon Wim. We need to identify at what level they are behaving. So we need to get the information from the scenario, what they are saying, what they are doing, at what level they are behaving. Okay. The Volvo car company decided to launch a new model of car to compete in the highly competitive economy market. In company is going to introduce a new model of car for competitive market. Competitive means cheap car they are going to produce. Small car they are going to produce. Although Bobo was a long established and profitable car manufacturer with a wide range of vehicles in other markets, such as family cars, four-wheel drive, etc., it had not entered in the economy market because it believed profit margin would be too low. And they never ever produced economy car because they believe economy car profit margin are low. They were producing luxury car or family cars. But company research showed that this was the car market segment with the smallest unit profit. The appointment of James Tosacco as chief executive changed that. However, as he believed that Bobo should offer a model in every category of car. In companies having new CEO and new CEO want, we should offer car for every type of customer. Even we should offer economy car. It was announced that the new economy car, when launched, would be called the Bobo Fu, the name of the car model. The key concept in the new model were conveyed to the design team led by executive director and head of design Kathy Yao. Cheap to buy. Obviously, if our car price is lower, we will be able to compete the market. Otherwise, there are so many competitor in economy market. So cheap to buy, economical to run, mean engine size should also be smaller, cheap to repair. So don't use expensive equipments, expenses repair. Easy to park, mean the size should be smaller so that it can be easily parked in any of the small vacant place even, and fun to drive. So this was the message conveyed by CEO to the design head Kathy Yao. At the outset, James Sacco met to discuss the new model with Kathy Yao because it was to enter the economy market. The minimization of unit cost would be absolutely paramount. Obviously, the more you will reduce the cost, the more you will able to reduce the price in the market. So main focus should be on lowest cost so that we can offer car at lowest price in the market. Mr. Tosacco had some posters printed to hang in the design office that read, "The Bobo Fu keep it cheap." So that the manufacturing staff should focus on cost cutting. This is what CEO want. They were all signed personally by Mr. Tosacco to emphasize the message to the design team as they were designing the car. So they hang over poster signed by Mr. CEO. The Bobo Fu keep it cheap. As well as repeating the keep it cheap message as often as possible. Mr. Sacco also instructed Kathy Yao that rather than the usual 43 months it took to develop a new model of car from the drawing board to the road, he wanted the Bobo Fu ready in 25 months. Because by reducing the days, we can reduce the cost as well. It's not that much easy. You have manufactured a car and you have launched on the road. No. First, you need to prepare a prototype, means sample of car. You need to perform some crash test on the car. And after analyzing the crash test result, you need to change the design. Then you should start production and launch the car. But normally company took 43 weeks to manufacture the car. Now he said you need to complete this car within 25 weeks. This again was about saving on cost to increase the eventual unit profit once the Bobo Fu was on sale. The design team was placed under a lot of pressure by Mr. Sacco, and Kathy Yao became stressed with the demand to complete the project in such a short time period. She privately told colleagues that the period was too short to ensure that all design features were safety tested. Because for safety test, we need some more time. This case took place before rigid safety regulations were imposed by government, so legal issues can be ignored. Mean at that time there was no safety regulations. After this case, government announced some new safety regulations as well. I mean, without a safety test, you cannot launch the car. Kathy Yao teams worked out that one way of reducing manufacturing cost would be to position the car fuel tank slightly differently from usual. She calculated that a small amount could be saved on producing each unit of production if the fuel tank was placed behind the rear axle rather than on top of the axle as was the normal practice. Because there is a pipe who connect the fuel tank to the engine and that pipe is expensive. And if you change the position of fuel tank, might be that pipe size will reduce. And by reducing the pipe size, you can save cost. So normally they put the fuel tank on top of the axle, but now they are putting behind the axle because through this they will be able to save cost. Along with others cost saving measures, this was incorporated into the finished prototype. In order to shorten the time to market, the factory is starting to be prepared for production for Bobofo called tooling up as soon as the completed design was available, but before the prototype was fully tested. They haven't performed the test on prototype in sample car and they started producing the car. Now, if anything find wrong during test, they will not be able to cheat that. When the prototype Bobofu went through a range of crash tests, the positioning of the fuel tank was shown to be a potential fire risk in the event of rare collision. In case of any collision, in any accident, there is a risk of a fire on the fuel tank because might be there is a hit through accident on the fuel tank directly. No action was taken in the light of this observation because as part of the new low-cost strategy for the Bobofu, the factory had already been tooled up and was ready to begin production. But no action was taken on that crash test result. The board decided that it would have been too expensive to retool the production line to a modified design, and so it went into production as it was. The Bobofo quickly became a big seller and sold 500,000 units of the model a year. So when company launched the car, it was a big success. In a year, they sold 5 lakh cars, making it appear that the Bobofo was another successful product for the Bobo company. Sometime later, however, a lorry crashed into the back of a Bobofo containing 3 young women. Upon impact, the fuel tank was ruptured, causing a fire in which all 3 passengers in the car were killed. Now, those crash test problems are arising. The company then began to receive other claims from lawyers because now the people in the society knows the fuel tank position is wrong. That's why if there is any collision, there is risk of fire. So the company then began to receive other claims from lawyers acting for people killed or injured by fires started by several year-end collision, rear-end collisions, and fuel tank damage. Bobo accepted a legal advice to pay compensation for each injury or loss of life caused by the fuel tank design fault, and they are paying compensation for the victims. The board then met to discuss the option for Bobofo. What to do now? Because they are receiving so many claims. Obviously, they are keeping mouth of people shut. by paying the compensation, mean they are trying to maintain their reputation. So they met in a board meeting. Kathy Yao, design team, had said that her team had worked out that the cars could be made safe by adding some reinforcing metalwork around the tank area. Vernon Wim, the finance director, said that there were two options in the light of what Kathy had said. First was the universal recall option. In company should recall all the cars from the market and they put some extra metal work on the tank area to make it safe. The company could recall at its own expense all Bobo food to make the modifications suggested by Kathy Yao and retool the production line to ensure safe positioning of the fuel tank on all future cars. In future production, we will change the fuel tank position, but existing, whatever we have sold, we should recall. Like 3-4 years back, Samsung recalled its Note 8. There was an issue of fire collision. Even 6 years back, Toyota recall its Toyota Prius. There was similar issue of fire in the engine. So there are two options. First, we need to recall the cars, put some extra metal work, and then give back to the customer. And in future cars, we should change the positioning of the tank. The second option, the compensation option, was not to recall the existing cars, not to make changes to the production line, but to continue to pay full compensation to victims for their families if or when a serious or fatal liability arose as a result of fuel tank damage from rear collision. We should keep going on. Whenever there is any claim, we will pay the compensation. Any people are dying, doesn't matter, we will pay the compensation. Vernon Ming, who is a finance director, and his everything is based on calculation because he's a finance director. So Vernon Ming produced some calculation to illustrate the dilemma. Dilemma means problematic, undecided situation, which way to choose. So he performed some calculation so that they can decide. They showed that assuming that the Bobo Fu will be produced for 10 years, the universal recall option would amount to $750 million over those 10 years. And if we are moving towards recall option, there will be cost of $750 million. While the compensation option was likely to amount to approximately $200 million in total. And that recall option is not double, 3 times more than compensation option. Vernon said that even allowing for substantial error in calculation, okay, make it to 250, there is still threefold difference. There was still at least a threefold difference in the cost between the two options. Because the board's bonus were partially based on company's annual profit, because this more cost will reduce the profit, we will not be able to get bonus reward. He said that the board should simply continue to pay compensation claim and not issue the universal recall. At what level he is behaving? Pre-conventional, conventional, or post-conventional? Pre-conventional, he is focusing on his reward bonus. He reminded the board that the difference between the two options was $500 million over 10 years. 250 and 750. $500 million. So he is behaving at pre-conventional level because he is preferring compensation offer and he's considering it ethically right because of his reward or self-interest to achieve his bonus based on the target profit. Kathy Yao said that the company should consider the universal recall option and think about retooling the production line to ensure the safe repositioning of the fuel tank on future production. It was important, she believed, for customer to know they should trust Bobo cars for their safety and that customers associated the brand with social responsibility. We are having a good repute in the industry. Customer expect from us, we will consider their best. She said this was an important part of company's strategic positioning and that the company should comply with the expectation that the society has of a large company like Bobo maintaining social order. So Kathy Yao is behaving at what level? Conventional level. To maintain a good repute in the society, what the people expect, we need to maintain that. Chief Executive James Tasako was concerned about complying with the expectations of shareholder and with how events might affect the company's share price and longer term prospects. We need to maintain the share price of the company. We need to focus on the long term effect on the company. The company's reputation as a strong investment was very important. And any long term damage to the brand would be very unfortunate. He said that issuing a universal recall would send out a terrible signal to the financial market and would damage confidence. Recall mean we are believing our fault, so this will affect our repute. Not only report, this will affect the share price of the company as well, where he is falling. Pre-conventional, or we can justify at conventional level. So requirement be done, but we need to study the complete case study. After a lengthy and heated discussion of the two options, it was decided that compensation option would be adopted because CEO, finance director, both were in favor of compensation. This was for financial reason, $500 million amount involved. And it was decided that any discussion of the decision in public should be avoided, mean keep this matter confidential because of the potential risk to reputation that may arise because company didn't consider the decision in society best point. They decided for their own sake. People will die due to accident. They are not focusing on that. There is no ethics. They are not considering humanity, morality. An unknown member of the board, outraged by the decision, angry with the decision, because this is not ethically right, informed the media about the choice the board had made. He announced press conference and about the design process that led to the Bobofo, thereby acting as a whistleblower. Being a professional, it is our ethical duty. If there is anything against the society, we need to listen. With a great deal of resulting negative publicity of Bobofu on TV, radio, and in the press, the institutional shareholder demanded an extraordinary general meeting, EGM, to discuss the relevant issue with the board. In particular, the shareholder wanted to hear the chief executive explain why the board took the decision it did. Why you did the wrong decision, unethical decision. In particular, they wanted to hold DM Tosacco accountable for the decision, answerable, to establish how he understood his role as chief executive and how he arrived at the decision not to issue a universal recall on the Bobofu. Why you didn't choose the recall option? You need to explain. So part B we have covered. Let's take a break. After break, we will cover part C and D. We'll see you after the break. Coming after 15 minutes.
હર્ષકુમાર હર્ષકુમાર ને ચલણ આપી કે ચલણ આલે છે ને કેમ તો હર્ષકુમાર ને કે ભાઈ આ ચલણ એને ટાઈપ કરી તો કાલે ત્યાં સ્વામીને ના ખાલી ચલણ આપવાનું છે. સ્વામી જરૂરથી તમે વાત કરો પહેલી જે કહું જાણે બીજા ફોન પરથી હર્ષકુમારને પૂછી જવાની બાકી છે ને કોઈ દિવસ નહીં મારી પાસે એટલે આજે 29 તો થઈ કાલે 20 પછી 21 22 ને 23 23 કયો વાર આવે છે 23 હજુ આવે છે ના મારે 22 સુધી જ જોવાનું છે 22 સોમવાર છે સોમવારે પછી છેલ્લો દિવસ છે એટલે કાલનો દિવસ ને પેલો દિવસ છે 2 દિવસ છે મેં કીધેલું કે કાલે રાત્રે આમ પ્રિન્ટ આઉટ ને મારો એક ફોન ચાલે છે ને એટલે મેં નહીં કરાવી એમને જ કરાવવાની છે તો મેં કીધું મેં એવું પૂછ્યું મેં એમને એવું પૂછ્યું કે ચલણની પ્રિન્ટ આઉટ નીકળી ગઈ છે તેને લખ્યું ઓકે મને એવું લાગ્યું એટલે પૂછ્યું કે ચલણની પ્રિન્ટ આઉટ નીકળી ગઈ તો પપ્પાને કાલે મોકલું એમ એના માટે ગયેલો ને કુમારને કદાચ કાઢી હોય ને તમને આ કીધું હોય કે પપ્પા આ પ્રિન્ટ આઉટ કાઢી છે લેતા જજો સાંજે મેં એટલે તમને પૂછ્યું કે નીકળી જાય એમ આપણને આંટી કરી એટલે આ બપોરે કેટલી ઉધર નીકળી ગઈ હોય ને તો બપોરે એને મોટી કરી દેજો કે આ બોલ દેજો પૈસા બીજો સોમવાર છેલ્લો દિવસ છે ને હવે કઈ પેન નથી લાગી મેં આ સુધીને જતો એ સુધો ના છે કારખાને હા હા બરોબર ચાલે જયમાં નીકળ વાળું તમને કીધું ને તો એનું છે ને એનું જે સહી કરેલું કાગળ છે ને જે ખાતામાં જમા કરવાનું છે એ મેં રેડી કરીને મમ્મીને આપેલું જ છે ખાલી નીકળને પોતું કરવાનું છે પોતું થઈ ગયેલું છે કે બાકી છે એ પોતું કરી દેજો પેલું રિટર્નિંગ ખાતું જમા કરવાનું આવે ને તે સફેદ 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 હા છે હા મેં એને કીધેલું તો છે જ આવડે એટલે મેં આજે એને કીધું એ કાલે અહીંયા આવ્યો 18 તારીખે દુબઈ મને કીધું જ નહીં બોલ હું કોન્ટેક્ટ કરવા એને રોજ ગુડ મોર્નિંગ કરું છું એની સ્ટોરીને રોજ હાય કેમ છું કેવું વાત ચાલે છે ₹2500 એવું લખેલું છે. મેં તારીખ પણ લખી દીધી કે અમુકમાં તો કે આ તારીખે આ પાકીટ આ તારીખે આ પાકીટ એમ. હા તો આજે નહીં નહીં આ બસ આજે છે. આ બસ આજે છે. એની સ્ટોરી જોઈ આજે સવારે એ ફ્લાઇંગ ટુ દુબઈ. તો મેં તરત જ ફોન કર્યો ભાઈ તું આવી ત્યાં કંઈ કીધું નતું મારા ઘરથી શા દર્શીમાં અત્યારે સ્લીપ થઈ ગઈ 3 દિવસ થઈ ગયો છે બિઝનેસ મીટિંગમાં ગયા. મારા ઘરથી એટલું ઊંઘાણું હતું મેં. ત્યાં એક છે ને બીજા એક ભાઈ છે ને હું અત્યારે ત્યાં જાઉં છું ને ભણુભાઈ તે ભાઈ વિશ્વમાં રહે છે એ છે ને કે ગઈકાલે આવવાના છે સુરત. તો હું પછી તને ફોન કરું એના માટે.
Bobo,
પછી ફોન કરું.
requirement B we have covered so far. So let's move towards requirement C of the question for 8 good marks. Requirement C. Distinguish between annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting. So we can differentiate between AGM and EGM, and we have covered already in chapter 5. The difference between AGM and EGM. AGM is mandatory, must be conducted once in a year. EGM is not mandatory, could be no EGM in the year or could be more than one EGM in the year. The notice period of AGM is 21 days, while notice period of EGM is 14 days. AGM purpose is predefined to present the annual reports to shareholder, while for EGM, agenda should be dictated. So distinguish between AGM and EGM. Explain the purpose of each and advantages of holding EGM to discuss the issue raised by the whistleblower. Because shareholder have demanded EGM, so now we need to say what could be the advantages of EGM for the company against the whistleblower action. So for a company, holding EGM with shareholder will give a chance to the management so that they can explain the situation, the reason behind the decision to satisfy the shareholder. So for shareholder satisfaction can be achieved through EGM. Because they will be able to explain we made the decision in best interest of the profit of the organization. Profit is best interest of the shareholder. And now, after this whistleblower, company repute has been damaged in the industry. Company lost their customers, lost their investors. So company might be having a financial crisis. And to improve from financial crisis, company need some funds. Obviously, in this situation, other than shareholder, nobody will provide funds to the company. So by having EGM, company can explain the situation to the shareholder and they can convince the shareholder to provide more finance to the company either by issuing new shares or through preference shares so that the company can survive by having more funds through the shareholder. So fund raising can be done by having EG. For 8 marks, two advantages and 4 marks difference between EGM and EGM, we can write something. So let's move towards part D of the question, the very important part D. Part 8 plus 6, 14, as well as 4 professional marks are there. In our paper of SBL, there are 20 professional marks. 20 professional marks. Out of those 20, 10 marks are relating to the answer clarity, and 10 marks are relating to the presentation as well as a tone adopted to answer the questions. What tone we can adopt to answer the question? Let's discuss. So part D, for 18 marks, prepare a statement for Mr. Tasako. Tasako means chief executive, to read at the EGM to address the following areas. Mean we need to write a statement for CEO that he will read at the EGM. And to write a statement, there is a part. First, we need to provide an introduction paragraph. While writing this statement, we should assume like we are a CEO and we are going to read this at the EGM. If this statement is from the company, like company need to publish somewhere, we will use the word we on behalf of company. If this statement is from any of the person, we will use the word I. So we need to put small introduction paragraph. I, being a CEO, appreciate the concern of shareholder who demand an EGM, and I feel regret regarding the reputation damage in the industry and the decision we took. Mean we need to show some sympathy, we need to show some feelings like against this issue, we are feeling bad, I am feeling bad. And he should appreciate the shareholder that they have demanded the EGM, mean we are ready, we are helping farmers. In this introduction paragraph, we need to introduce. Then we will move towards our requirement. What is requirement D1, D2, that we will put. And at the end, there will be some closing remarks. If he is reading, he is speaking at the AGM, at the end, I'm ready to answer any question from the audience. If from the company, in case of any query, feel comfortable or feel freely to contact us. So this could be closing line. And there are 4 marks for this and this. In how we can write a statement. What are the requirements D1, D2? Before moving to requirement, let's move towards this answer of this requirement. Mean how we can write a statement. The introduction paragraph. Thank you for taking the time to come to this extraordinary general meeting. I appreciate that you have a number of serious concerns arising from the recent media coverage about the Bobofo. I intend to address these concerns in my statement today. And then there is requirement 1, requirement 2 answer. And at the end, what are the closing remarks? If any of you have any question you would like me to answer, I will now gladly to do so. Or simple, I am ready to answer any question from the audience. feel free to contact us in case of any query from the company point of view. So there are professional marks for this tone and presentation. Now we are moving towards the requirement, what are the requirement, how we can answer that. So requirement D1, an explanation of the role of chief executive in managing the issue described in case at Bobo company. And he is asked to explain his role as a CEO. And role of CEO we have covered. The role of CEO is to run the company. We will say the role of being a CEO is to run the company in best interest of the principal shareholder that I did duly in the past. The role of CEO is to represent the company. Against external stakeholder so that I performed well in the past. The role of the CEO is to show accountability regarding performance of the company. That my previous track record shows I did well even in the previous jobs, even in current job of Bobo company. And the role of CEO is to safeguard asset of the company. Safeguard assets are financial resources of the company. And being a CEO, I discussed the matter with the whole board and we made the decision in best financial results of the company. Like there was cost issue, that's why we decided this decision. So for 8 marks, we can explain 4 roles by linking with scenario interpreter. What is the requirement to D2? To move towards the requirement D2, we need to cover one more. So moving back to chapter 7. Ethics. So there were 2 views on ethics, absolutism and relativism. And according to relativism, an individual while behaving ethically fall in 3 stages are 3 levels are 6 stages. A company while behaving ethically, they fall in 7 positions. According to Gay Owen Adam model, a company while behaving ethically fall into 7 positions. What are 7 positions? Pristine capitalist, expedient, social responsibility or social contract, socialist, radical feminist, deep ecologist. So a company while behaving ethically fall into 7 positions: pristine capitalist, expedient, social contract, socialist, radical feminist, and deep ecologist. Pristine capitalists are those companies whose ethical beliefs are company need to focus on best of our shareholder. No CSR. The right thing to do is consider best for the shareholder because it's the company of shareholder they have given to us. So what is the right thing? Just consider best for shareholder, nothing else. This is pristine capitalist approach. In their ethical belief, we need to consider best for the company, best for the shareholder, best for the profit of the company. No need to consider CSR. Expedient are those companies whose ethical belief are right thing to do is to consider best of our shareholder as well as society. Because if we consider society, it will boost our repute. It will help to generate more sales and more profit for the organization, mean instrumental view on CSR. And this is the right thing. If we need to perform CSR, that is for the sake of profit. While social contract, here falls those companies whose ethical belief are based on normative view of CSR. Our Carroll model approach of CSR mean we need to consider best of our shareholder, along with we need to perform legal responsibilities, ethical responsibilities, as well as philanthropic responsibilities. Because we are generating everything from society, so we need to consider society best as well. While socialist are those companies whose ethical belief are we should consider society first. Then we should consider the profit if we can generate. But private organization do not be a socialist. Public sector government organization are normally socialist because their motive is other than profit. Private organization work for the sake of profit. They don't fall as a socialist. Because what's their belief? Society first, then other things. Deep ecologists are those companies whose ethical belief are that environment first, then we will see the society and profit. So pristine capitalist, profit first, only profit. Expedient, economic responsibilities, as well as social responsibilities. In fact, economic as well as social responsibilities. Even this view that we have discussed here, normative Carroll model approach, so that is also linked to expedient. What is social responsibility? Their beliefs are company need to focus on economic responsibilities plus social responsibilities as well as environmental responsibilities. That is sustainability. Mean long-term survival is also based on considering environment as well. So not only company should focus on economic, social, they also focus on environmental responsibility, save the planet. While social is no society first, only social. The other thing we will see later on. Afterward, first we should focus on society. Deep ecologist, only environment, like environmental bodies. The other thing we will see afterward. First, consider best for the environment. Well, radical feminists are those companies whose ethical beliefs are based on a feminist viewpoint. There are two views. One is called masculine views. The other is feminine. Masculine mean male behavior or aggressive behavior. That is relating to self-interest because the male take decision in self-interest. Feminist behavior mean female behavior that is caring behavior, best for all. So those companies whose ethical belief we should consider caring best for all behavior. Those companies fall where radical feminist. They focus on equal opportunities for all. We need to show care for all. There shouldn't be any criticism, there shouldn't be any discrimination. Mean no discrimination. So according to Gray Owen Adams, while behaving ethically, companies fall at 7 positions. Pristine capitalists are those companies whose ethical belief are that being a company, right thing to do is to consider best of our shareholder, not for the society, because this company is for shareholder. To consider best for society is the responsibility of government, public sector organization, not private organization. Expedient are those companies whose ethical belief are that along with economic responsibilities, we need to consider best of our society as well. We need to focus on economic as well as social responsibilities both. While social contract companies are those companies whose ethical belief that we should focus on economic, social, as well as environmental responsibilities, because for long-term survival means sustainability point of view, we should focus on all three activities. While socialist are those companies whose ethical belief we should focus on society first, then we will see other things. Deep ecologists are those companies whose ethical belief are we should focus on environment first, then we will focus on other things. For them, genetic engineering is a wrong thing. What is genetic engineering? Producing something through artificial way. Why? To meet the need of society. But they consider genetic engineering is a wrong thing. It's a big crime. It's not ethically right. Why? Because we are disturbing the natural way of production of any of the living things. As being a human being, we cannot afford somebody will interfere in our natural way of production. We should not even interfere in any other living things in natural way of production. It's not ethically right. Though people are involved in genetic engineering, they are producing some goods through artificial way. Why? Because through natural way, the production is not meeting the demand of the society. That's why. But they consider that is wrong because you are disturbing the natural environment. Everything should be according to nature. And normally environmental pressure groups, environmental bodies fall here. So if we see here, there was no CSR. Here, a little bit CSR, complete CSR, only CSR, CSR as well as opportunities, equal opportunities, and beyond CSR mean environment. So let's move towards that question. Bobo, part D2. Being a CEO, he need to provide a defense of the company's decision on Bobo from pristine capitalist ethical perspective using a Gray, Owen, and Adams framework. Being a CEO, he need to explain I made the decision from pristine capitalist mean best for our shareholder. So he will explain, yes, the decision we decided is best for the company, best for the shareholder, best from profit point of view, because there was threefold difference between the two costs. The cost of compensation option was $200 million, while the cost for recall option was $750 million. And $500 million will affect the profit. That's why we decided that decision that was best interest of the company as well as best interest of the shareholder. First, we need to define what is pristine capitalist mean. For a pristine capitalist are those companies whose ethical belief are to consider best for the shareholder rather than society. We can explain this part D2 as well. So, in ethics, what we have covered, we have covered two views on ethics: absolutism, relativism. How individuals behave ethically, we have covered Kohlberg model. How companies corporate behave ethically, we have covered Gray, Owen, Adams, 7 position. So let's move towards another topic called approaches to ethics. Approaches to ethics. So there are two approaches or two ways according to which people decide right or wrong. There are two approaches to ethics. I mean, deciding right wrong, there are two ways, two methods, or two approaches. I mean, if I'm going to do this, this is ethically right. No, I should not do this. This is ethically wrong. How people decide this? This is right, this is wrong. So there are two approaches. One is called deontological approach, and other is called teleological approach. Deontological approach, also called non-consequential approach, while teleological approach, also called consequential approach. What is meant by consequence? What is meant by consequence? Results, outcome. If people are deciding right wrong by focusing on the outcome results of their action or decision, so that approach is called teleological approach. If I do this, there will be positive outcome of this for the society. This means this act is ethically right. If I do this, there will be negative outcome for the society. That's why it is ethically wrong. So this is what teleological approach. In they are deciding right wrong based on the outcome results of their action or decision. If people deciding right wrong not on the base of outcome results, but on the base of reason behind the decision or action, that is called deontological approach. There is a term called starvation. What is starvation? People are dying due to hunger. People are dying due to hunger. But they are not dying once, they are dying every day. But after they lose emotion, everything, they die permanently. Starvation. And you saw people are in terrible situation. They are in very much pain. They are dying every day. And you decided, I should kill them once to put them out of pain. Because they are in very much pain. And to get them out of pain, I should kill them. And this is ethically right. If to stop starvation, you decided to kill the people to put them out of pain, this is ethically right. This decision you made on based on deontological approach mean reason behind the decision. What is the reason? They are in pain. Put them out. You are not considering about the outcomes, results. Obviously, if you are killing the people, You will face some action from the police, you will face some action from the government, you will be hand up. You are not focusing on the outcome. You are not focusing on the outcome, you are removing human beings from the planet. You are not focusing on the outcome, you are focusing on reason behind the decision and deciding right wrong based on the reason. This is called deontological approach. Mean you are not caring about the outcome. Okay, there's another decision to stop child labor. Mean you have decided to stop child labor. Why? Because if we are allowing child labor, this is interference with their education. If we are allowing child labor, we will not be having a future educated population. And if you have decided this is right thing to do to stop child labor, so that we'll be having future educated population. You are focusing on what? Outcome results. This decision is based on teleological approach. You are not focusing if children are working, they are income source of their family. Mean why they are working, reason behind income source of their family, but you are not focusing on this. You are focusing on outcome. We are focusing on results so that we'll be having future educated population, future educated nation. That's why stop child labor is ethically wrong. This decision is based on teleological approach rather than deontological approach. There are two approaches on ethics. Mean people decide right wrong based on consequences, teleological approach, based on reason behind the decision, not consequences, deontological approach. So you got some idea what is deontological, what is teleological. Now, moving forward to making explaining it a little bit more. From deontological point of view, if you are deciding right wrong based on the reason behind the action or decision, not outcome, your decision, your action will be considered ethically right if it fulfills Kant three maxims. Maxims mean principles. Who defined these maxims or principles? There was a writer called Kant. If you are deciding right wrong based on the reason, obviously to you it will be right, but it will be considered right ethically if it fulfills these three maxims, these three principles. What are three principles? Consistency, human dignity, and universality. Consistency means your decision, your belief should be consistent about that belief, that action, that decision. If now you are deciding something as a ethical right, in future, if you face any action, you need to stand on your decision. Yes, I was right. It shouldn't be like in future, if you are facing any action, you are thinking, oh, I did a mistake. No, there is no consistency there. Mean your belief should be consistent regarding that decision. There should be human dignity. Mean whatever you are deciding, it should be in humanity, morality. There should be humanity, morality. We are killing people because this is the only solution to remove starvation because they are in pain. On one way, you are conceding humanity, morality, but you are killing people. There is no humanity, morality. And there should be universality. Universality mean acceptable for other in the world. World acceptance. Mean if you are saying one thing as a ethically right, other people in the world will also say, yes, this is ethically right. If other people in the world are saying, no, this is wrong, only you are saying right, then this decision is not meeting universality. It is not a world acceptance. This is ethically wrong. So from deontological point of view, your decision will be ethically right. If it meets the three maxims, there should be consistency, mean your belief should be consistent regarding that decision. There should be human dignity, mean humanity, morality should be considered, and there should be universality, mean other people in the world should also saying, yes, you are right. You should not be only one on the other side. There should be other persons on that side, on your side. From teleological point of view, if you are deciding right, wrong based on the outcome, then outcome can be considered in two ways. One is called egoism. Egoism mean best for me. Best for me, or you can say self-interest. Mean people can consider outcome in their self-interest. Or utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is best for society. Mean public interest. Public interest means best for society in the interest of general public rather than personal self-interest. If you are focusing on outcome, and that outcome you are focusing on egoism approach mean best for me, so that decision will not be ethically right. Your decision will be ethically right based on the outcome, mean using teleological approach. If you are focusing outcome best for the society, best for the public, not for use. We are stopping child labor. Why? For our side or for the society? For the society. So that's why this decision is ethically right. If you are considering for yourself, no, that is not ethically right. So there are two approaches on ethics: deontological approach, teleological approach. Deontological approach is also called a non-consequential approach. Mean people decide right wrong based on the reason behind the decision or action, not the outcome. But from deontological point of view, decision will be ethically right if it fulfills the three maxims of Kant. There should be consistency of belief. There should be humanity, morality, human dignity, and there should be universal acceptance. What is teleological approach? People deciding right wrong based on the outcome or results of the decision or action, not the result. But decision will be ethically right if you have considered results based on utilitarianism mean best for society rather than egoism mean best for me mean self-interest approach. Is that fine? So let's move towards the question. Small question, Hodge products. There are three requirements of the question, but we need to focus on requirement C of the question now, only requirement C. For 9 good marks. Assess. Assess me from positive, negative, both point of view. Mr. Hodge's belief, who is Mr. Hodge, we don't know. Mr. Hodge believes that employing child labor is always ethically wrong. In his belief, employing child labor is always ethically wrong. From deontological mean non-consequential and teleological mean consequential ethical perspective. Who is Mr. Hodge? Why he is saying that? Let's read the scenario. Hodge Products Company HPC based in developing a country, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, developing country, was recently wholly acquired by American Overseas Investment AOI, a North American holding company. Mean AOI have acquired HPC. AOI is based in America. HPC is based in a developing country. The new owner took the opportunity to completely review HPC management culture and system. Obviously, if they have acquired, they want to put that company into good performance. So they are reviewing its culture, its system. If there is anything need to change, they can implement. One of the first things that AOI questioned was HPC's long-standing corporate codes of ethics. In HPC have adopted their codes of ethics, mean they have defined some rules towards behaving ethically. Mean these are the right thing to do. We should follow this. The board of AOI said that it had a general code of ethics that HPC as an AOI subsidiary should adopt. Meanwhile, companies are following so many ethical code, they should adopt few code that we are adopting. Who is the same? Parent company. Simon Hodge, the chief executive of HPC, disagreed, however, and explained why HPC should retain its existing code. No, we will retain our existing code. We will follow these so many codes. He said that HPC had adopted its codes of ethics in its home country, which was often criticized for its unethical business behavior. That's why we have adopted some more ethical rules so that we can build good repute. Some other companies in the country were criticized for their sweet shop condition, mean unethical behavior. HPC's adopted of its codes of ethics, however, meant that it could always obtain order from European customer on the guarantee that products were made ethically and in compliance with its own highly regarded codes of ethics. Due to this, we are having good repute, not currently even in Europe, and we are having European customer based on this. Because through this course, we are providing guarantee, we are behaving ethically. Mr. Hodge explained that HPC had an outstanding ethical reputation both locally and internationally, and that reputation could be threatened if it was forced to replace its existing codes of ethics with AOI more general codes. It will damage the repute if we change our course of ethics. When Ed Tanner, a senior director from AOI head office, visited Mr. Hodge after the acquisition, he was shown HPC operation in action. Mr. Hodge pointed out that unlike some other employers in the industry, HPC did not employ child labor. Mr. Hodge explained that although it was allowed by law in the country, it was forbidden by HPC's codes of ethics. I mean, this is ethically wrong. Mr. Hodge also explained that in his view, employing child labor was always ethically wrong. Mr. Tanner asked whether the money that children earned by working in the relatively safe condition at HPC was an important source of income for their families. Mr. Hodge said that the money was important to them, but even so, it was still wrong to employ child labor, as it would exploitative and interfered with their education. He also said that it would alienate the European customer who bought from HPCs partially on the term of its codes of ethics. Part C of the question. Assess Mr. Hodge belief. Employing child labor is always ethically wrong from deontological and theological ethical perspective. So first we will put the heading deontological approach. We will define a little bit from deontological point of view at the decision is considered ethically right based on the reason behind the action rather than results. Though Mr. Hodge or HPC's decision is based on results, but even if we try to evaluate from deontological point of view, the decision will be considered ethically right if it is meeting three maxims of Kant. Consistency. We'll define consistency. What does it mean? Your belief should be consistent in past, future, as well as present. And if we see company believe child labor is always ethical wrong, it is meeting consistency. Human dignity. Your decision will be considered ethical right if it is in best of humanity morality. If we see company decision of stop child labor is meeting human dignity as well, because they don't want to interfere with education of children. But from their family income point of view, it is not meeting humanity morality. But on the long-term perspective, it is meeting human dignity. Your decision should be fulfilling universality, mean other should also be considering it right. And there are some NGOs working against stopping child labor. Even in some countries, there are laws defined against child labor. So this company decision is also meeting universality. So from deontological point of view, company decision is ethically right. Then we'll put the heading teleological approach. We will define considering right wrong based on the outcome results. But outcome results can be judged from egoism and utilitarianism point of view. And decision is ethically right if it is made in utilitarianism. If we evaluate HPC's decision, child labor is always ethically right. Company is showing that it is from utilitarianism point of view best for society. But on the other hand, they are not changing the decision to keep their European customer happy. And they are considering egoism as. So the decision could be ethically right if company allow child labor in safe environment of HPC, and company should arrange education facility for these children as well. Then it could be in utilitarianism fully. Because currently companies showing they are in utilitarianism, but to keep their European customer happy, they are disallowing. This means they are taking this decision in egoism. Assess positive and negative both point of view we need to discuss. So answer of this question is given. Please read the answer and try to attempt it before next class. So that's it for today. We will continue ethics from next class onward.